Well, it was a great football game. Proud of the way we fought back in the second half and had multiple chances to get it back and get a lead. And obviously it's one of those games. You lose by 2 points. There's a lot of plays you think about. And, we were without a lot of players today. I thought our defense really battled, not having Aleem and Peyton and Drake and Tanner Engel, the kids that had to play in their place, played hard. And, offensively, we just turned the ball over 3 times. We missed 2 field goals. We had our chances to make that a different game, and we didn't. And you have to give Kentucky credit for that. But it was a really hard-fought game and a physical game as I expected it to be. So, proud of the way the kids fought, proud of our season. This doesn't make me feel like we didn't have a good season. We did. And it was a great experience. I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be down here and really excited that so many of these players are back. It's going to be a great offseason with them. So, questions?
All right. Thanks, Coach. Let's go to Gary Smets with the Florida Times-Union.
Yeah, Dave, these two teams don't have a whole lot of history, haven't played in 50 years. Why do you think it got so chippy out there today?
I don't know. Maybe you should ask them. I'm not sure. There was a lot of stuff underneath on the ground in the piles and different things like that, and it's hard to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Let's go to Lonnie. Lonnie, if you unmute yourself, I think you're good.
Coach, I know that winning is the bottom line, but I want to ask you also, how was it having a reunion with the old Youngstown guys in this particular game on the football field?
Yeah, Mark Stoops and I have been friends for a long time and have great defensive talks with him through the years. When I was coaching at Kansas and he was at Arizona, we recruited against each other in Dallas, Texas all the time and got to know each other well. And then he became a defensive coordinator at Arizona, and I was the D coordinator at Wisconsin, and we would clinic together. And so we've known each other a long time. We were both hired the same year at our respective schools. We've both done a lot of good things, and there's not many coaches that have been at their respective schools for 8 seasons. So I think it says a lot about what he's done, what I've done, and our staffs and our players have done. Tim Beck and him obviously grew up together, and so there's a lot of respect.
All right, thanks, Lonnie. Let's go over to Andrew Schneider.
Dave, how encouraging is the performance of the defense today, minus arguably your 4 best players, especially given that a lot of those guys who did that today are young players who are going to be back for you maybe in bigger roles next year?
It's very encouraging. And they were put in some tough situations after turnovers, so to have short fields and to have a 4th down stop like we did a lot of good things on defense today. Did enough to win, And anytime you play a game without Peyton Wilson, Drake Thomas, Tanner Engel, and Aleem McNeil, and those are 4 really good run defenders against a really good rushing offense. I mean, we were concerned coming into the game about it. And not that we stopped the run. We didn't, but we did enough and kept them off the scoreboard enough to give ourselves a chance.
And I know Aleem is on to the NFL, and Tanner had the suspension from the targeting injection. Were Peyton and Drake injured, or? Yeah,
they were injured. Drake's been injured, and has kind of been playing through some things. And just from a recovery standpoint for both of them, we felt like to have them ready for next year and the way we want them to be able to play, we needed to do the things to them that were needed right after the last game.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's go over to David Thompson.
Hey, Coach, you said, a loss today doesn't discount all the success you had this year. Can you just talk about, what this team meant to you and kind of what this season meant for you?
Well, I love these guys, the players, the coaches, the staff. We went through a lot. Went through a lot last season. There was a lot of people talking negatively about us, and we stuck together. We came back with a growing attitude. We grew a lot together. We learned a lot from each other. A lot of guys stepped up this year and stepped into roles where they weren't starters and injuries took place, and guys would step in and just play. I mean, Isaac Duffy-Webb's a great example of that. I know Bailey's disappointed in himself, but he had a good season for us, and there's guys that stepped up throughout the season. So I love this football team. I'm excited about the guys that are coming back, and there's a lot of positives that we can take from the season.
And just to follow up, do you feel like personally this was one of your toughest seasons as a coach, just with, everything involved?
Mentally it was. The number of things we dealt with that you just have never been through as a coach, trying to make decisions on, all the unknowns. And the thing is none of the leadership had any ideas. Boo was trying to figure out his side of it. President of the United States doesn't know what to do. Everybody's trying to figure out how to handle this. And so you just made the best call you could, and you learned on the run. And we had a lot of really transparent conversations. We made mistakes along the way and learned from them, but it was challenging. There was so many times you weren't talking about football. And obviously that's not what I was hired to do, so the whole thing, it was upside down, but I feel like we did a really good job managing it and learned a lot through it.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time today.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Donovan, can you hear me? Oh, let me see. I think they've muted you. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. You sound great. All right. Let's start with Gary Smets of the Florida Times Union.
Hey, Donovan, why did things get so chippy out there? The number of unsportsmanlike penalties. What was going on out there, in between plays or things like that maybe created the situation?
I'm not sure. Most of the time I wasn't really out there. I just think it was a matter of both teams just simply being undisciplined.
All right. Thanks, Gary. Does anyone else have a question? Go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, there we go. David Thompson, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Can you just talk about, just wrap up kind of this season and what it was like for you and just kind of what you're going to take from this game going forward?
This game, I know I have to work on pass blocking more off season. That's kind of why they took me out at the end, knowing it was kind of my weakness. So I know that's where my deficiency is. So I know I need to work towards that in the off season and try to progress in that area.
Were what was it was kind of a really tough game for you guys. Feel like it was tough to get some momentum going, but you find yourself in a position to win. What was the energy like on the sideline during the game?
Yeah, at the end of the game, like the energy after the touchdown, the energy just raised. Like everybody was hype on the sideline. Sadly we couldn't get the onside kick, and I think after that, kind of momentum kind of changed for us.
Thanks, David. All right, let's go to Lonnie.
Who's the player we got here? I forgot his name. Who was it?
Sorry, Lonnie. This is Donovan Knight.
Yeah,
running back for the NC State and also our MVP.
Yeah, Donovan Knight. Donovan, I want to ask you this question about a lot of the chippiness that was going on out there today. Do you feel that the underlying problem, the underlying issue was conferences, SEC against ACC, and each team playing for their pride of their league?
I honestly don't think that would be the case. I think it was just emotions out there. People letting the emotions get the best of them.
All right, thanks, Lonnie. Let's go over to Joe Mazur. Joe, you're going to need to unmute yourself.
Donovan, after such a long 6-7 months or whatever it's been, just to try to get to this point to finish the season, what's the feeling like? Are you kind of relieved that it's over now, or what is the feeling?
I think everybody is kind of relieved that the season's kind of closing out. But, in our case, we aren't satisfied with how the season just ended. So we know what we need to work on going into off season. So we need to plan ahead and just try to work on that during spring ball.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We're going to do one more from Jonas Pope.
Hey, Donovan, just kind of follow up on Joe's question. You guys, had a better regular season this year, but you still go into the offseason coming off a loss. But can you tell a difference? I know the game just happened, but do you feel a difference with this season finale heading to the offseason as opposed to last year when, things ended so badly on that losing streak? Can you tell us going to be a difference heading to the offseason for the guys this year?
Yes. It was, although there was a lot of chippiness on the field, you could tell that on the sideline, it was more of a family feeling versus last year. It was more of like individuals trying to do their own thing. On the sideline, people were keeping each other up, just motivating them tell them that, no, we don't need any more dumb penalties because it's setting us back.
All right. Thanks, Jonas. And thank you, Donovan, for your time. We really appreciate it.